I'm telling you, like, any of these things, you just kind of walk in, you say your name, you say who you are, and you just walk in. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Wade Barris to see Mayor Justin.
I don't see anything.
How about next street over Productions to see Mayor Justin?
Still nothing. Is there
Try Aydyn and Wade.
Aydyn?
And Wade.
Aydyn and Wade.
Yeah.
Can I help you with something?
Oh, Mayor Justin, you got a couple minutes?
Sure.
See, it's that easy, man. Just walk right in.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what the experts refer to as acting. I smell a Canadian Daytime Emmy coming our way. Now, this is a very different and special episode of Indie Business. Usually we sit down with a small business owner, but in this episode, the Mayor of Cornwall, Ontario, Justin Towndale, was kind enough to meet with us, talk about Cornwall's aging downtown core, the history of this beautiful area, what it's like to be a mayor of a city, his musical tastes, and of course, Highway 401 piss jugs. Well, kind of. I talked about them, and he just politely humored me. Now let's get the interview. We're here with Mayor Justin Towndale. Mayor, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this. Now, I know you're a busy guy, but if you could just kind of walk in your own words, just kind of describe, first of all, what it's like to be mayor, some of your duties and kind of your background that you've had before you became mayor of Cornwall.
Yeah, no, thanks. Thanks, Wade. Thanks for reaching out. It's great to be here with you today. I appreciate that. And so being mayor of a city of Ontario, there's a couple things that come with that. I'm the chair of council, so for every meeting that council has, I am the one chairing or running the meeting. I typically, I'm not required to vote on every item, but I try to because I'm allowed to, and I have one vote like the other members of council, right? At the end of the day, I'm another member, but at the same time, being chair and the mayor also makes me the official spokesperson of the city, and it's been equated in the past as like a CEO or president of, like, if it were a company, that would be the same role. But it doesn't mean that I have unilateral decision making. Even with strong mayor powers, that's not quite how that works. But with the added strong mayor powers that the province has granted to municipalities, I have a bit more authority, but I still need to work with council on those, and I can't just unilaterally start doing things. So it's an interesting position to be in because people think, in a sense, that the mayor has just widespread powers to do whatever it is, whatever the case may be. It's not quite that simple. Like other members of council, I sit on committees. So in addition to our council meetings, we have committee meetings. I'm on the police board, for example. And whenever we go to municipal conferences, whenever we meet with ministers, provincial ministers, like Nolan Quinn, our MPP, I'll be leading the delegations, and we go there to ask for things like policy changes or more funding for projects, things like that. And so it's also representing the city to the outside world in a sense as well. Prior to being mayor, I was on council for 2 terms. I first got elected to Cornwall City Council in 2014. My other job, I'm a reservist with the SDNG Highlanders here in town. I'm a captain. I'm an infantry officer. And I've always had an interest in politics, which kind of led me down this path. After I graduated from University of Toronto, I worked at Queen's Park for a few years, and I lived in Toronto for about 12 years. I went after graduating from St. Joe's here in town. That was my high school, and then lived in Toronto 12 years, came back, ran for office, and here we are today.
So you grew up in Cornwall, in the area, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You went to the Big Smoke and found your way back, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, no. Toronto was great. I won't lie. I enjoyed my time there. Spent all my 20s there, but I wouldn't live there again. I wouldn't give up living in Cornwall to go back. And it's interesting because I've met other people who say the same thing. I think it's important for people to spread their wings. I really believe that. So if you have to move away and go to school, enter the workforce, meet the love of your life, you start your family, that's great. But coming home can be great too, and I find that it's been great to come home. And I'm in Toronto every 2 months or so for meetings. And the way the city's changed and everything, I don't feel the same draw anymore.
When I was, I think, 18, I got a job in Toronto as a private investigator.
Oh, wow.
Which was just a bad idea. Looking back now, there's no way I should have been competent to do that job. And I just drove and nothing exciting. I was just followed transport trucks the whole day, every day. And it was super lame. So when I tell people I was a private investigator, they think I was like Magnum PI, but I just was on the highway all day, urinating into jars.
Oh,
we'll edit that out, okay?
So you're responsible responsible for the jars.
Yeah, exactly. Half of the 401 piss jugs came from me from a certain date. So Justin, Indie Business, our show, we profile local small businesses. We're in Cornwall talking to the mayor. I definitely want to talk to you about like the downtown core and all the businesses. We have some businesses in Cornwall that have been here for 60 plus years. Some ones that have just opened up, some that have come and gone, some that were successful, some not successful. So just kind of in your own words, like what's your vision of the downtown core and how do you see it?
Yeah, so I mean, the downtown core, like 99% of that is small business, right? There's a couple chains that are there. And it's always been kind of the heart of the community. And I say that for a couple reasons, because, small business is a backbone of our community, and that's not just like some sort of like punchline or campaign line or something like that. That's actual something that is true. They pay taxes, they hire people, and they're local people running a business. You can't get more like close to a heart than that. And the business owners downtown are great. They're very passionate. Like you said, some have been there for many years, and I've been a customer of some of them for many years as well. And I'm proud to say that. Cornwall's seen a lot of change in its 240 some odd years. And the downtown has evolved, like you said. Businesses come and go. A lot have stayed, which is good, but there's always more to do. And I think we hear from our business community about the challenges they face, and we meet with the DBIA semi-frequently to talk about that. And that's why I say there's always more we can do, because right now we know the downtown needs love and it needs work. We've partnered with the Chamber and the DBIA on a few projects. There's some new lighting down there. The downtown Cornwall sign is great. At the top of the light standards, there's some new, call it like fin lighting. It looks like a half oval, and it's done by a local artist. Jade Thompson was involved in that. And those illuminate at night. So it provides illumination, but it's also an art piece. And then council recently just approved, there's a walkway between Echo Trends and the business next door that used to be the patio for Truffles when it was there, Truffles Burger Bar. And we're going to put in a lighting project there. It's going to be similar to another laneway park like in London, Ontario. I can't remember the name of that one, but it's going to have a vibe to an illumination. And these are small steps we can take to make downtown better, but there's more for us to do. I've been talking to the deputy CEO about it because, the infrastructure there is starting to crumble a little bit. The brickwork, there's water pooling. I'm not sugarcoating this. This is real stuff. And I hear from the business owners about this. So we have to get in there and make those repairs and make it better. I know there's a plan to look at what we can do in the next major project downtown, what it'll look like for parking, what it'll look like for traffic flow and things like that. But I think the key thing is engaging with the businesses, hearing from them, and trying to make it better. And there's always more to do. The job's never going to be done, and we can always do better. And downtown is a crucial part of our community. It really is. Cornwall's a little weird, in my opinion, in the sense that it's really spread out for a city our size. When you look at where things are in the city and trying to get around the city, it's easy to get around. But other cities our size tend to be more compact. So, we have Brookdale, which has a ton of other businesses too. And some of those are chains, but they're owned by local people, right? So you don't see that in communities our size all the time. So when you look at where the college is, where the dev center is, where the 401 is, where the train station is, where downtown is, where Brookdale is, there's a lot of different areas you have to get to for whatever you're looking for. So, every part of the city needs love, but certainly the downtown is it's the anchor of our community. I mean, we're downtown right now, City Hall, we're downtown.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like downtown is kind of in that middle point of there's so much history and so much heritage attached to it, but also it's an aging infrastructure, So it's that fine line of trying to bring stuff up, but still, I guess, kind of endorse the history behind it,
Yeah, and that, you're absolutely right, Wade. It's, there's a lot of history here in this city. We're one of the oldest in Canada, and I mean, so there's some that have a couple hundred years on us, but we're still older. And, in Ontario, anyway, we're one of the oldest for sure, part of Upper Canada. And when we look at the buildings that are gone, the Cornwallis Hotel, the Capitol Theatre, numerous others that were torn down or burnt down. The city suffered a lot of fires in the early 1900s that just eliminated buildings of then historic value. But, we had a Carnegie library, and if you do research on those, the Carnegie family paid for libraries across North America. We had one; it's gone. There's not even a footprint of it.
Where was it?
Yeah, I was at the corner of 2nd and Sydney. There's a dentist office there right now.
Yeah.
So you can find photos of it. It was an amazing, it was a little building, but it was an amazing little building. And so these things are gone. They're lost to time. And we've done a bad job, I think, over the decades. And this, you know, the responsibility for that falls on many, many people.
Yeah.
Of maintaining our history.
Yeah.
Even where the Seaway building is, the post office that was there, if you look at photos of that, it was a beautiful building. That's why the clock tower was built in Lammerwood Park. It's reminiscent of the clock tower that used to sit in the post office.
Okay.
So going forward, you know, we got to nip that in the bud a bit
Yeah.
more and stop that from happening as frequently. I mean, we can't erase the past, but we can plan for the future. You know, we have, the city has a Heart of the City program where we provide either in-kind or loan or forgivable loan or funding to help business owners, especially downtown in Le Village, invest in their facades, their buildings, all that. And some have taken great advantage of that. And it's helped, but there's always more to do, like I'm saying. But yeah, you know, with the history here, you wouldn't know it. Even this building, this city hall was built in 1950. It replaced a much older town hall that there's a plaque outside that shows what that looks like. And it was a beautiful building. And at the time, because, you know, small towns, it housed the fire department and offices, but it was torn down for this because of modernization. And this is a, you know, 1950 brutalist rectangle building that nothing special about it. And other cities of our age, Brockville, Kingston, Gananoque, many others have historic buildings as their city hall, and they maintain those, and we don't have that. We've lost that.
And yeah, like you said, it's there's no one to blame. It's just, it seems to be kind of a slow unraveling over the past, you know, 60, 50 years or so of just losing kind of sight of what we are and what we can be, I think. But yeah, there's so much heritage and so much kind of culture here, and it seems that it's just kind of blended away a little bit, but it is a beautiful city with a beautiful downtown, you know, that I think should showcase. One thing that I thought was really nice is whether it be a couple weeks or a couple months ago, we had our art walk down from 2nd Street down to where the Cornwall Square basically is.
Yeah.
And just to have that little street shut down, to have vendors and kind of have it be a walking street, I just thought just has so much potential to, you know, utilize that little area of shutting down that street to have different, you know, exciting things to draw people downtown throughout the summertime. Anyways, I just thought it was an awesome little thing, and I hope it's something that we could kind of keep going with, you know, and utilize that, because it's not like that's a heavy traffic area. You know, you have beautiful restaurants and shops down there. It was so cool to see that shut down and just have that be kind of a walking street, you know?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And it's funny you mention that, because looking at the history of Pitt Street, it was a walking mall at one point, and then it was a roadway, then it was a walking mall again, now it's the roadway again. So there was the back and forth on the bus, off the bus kind of thing happening. But it's great when we can do that for festivals in the summer. Art Walk is one. I'd have to think about the other ones, because it used to happen a bit more frequently in the summer. But there's always potential for things like that, and it's great when people can come downtown. I know the night market is coming up, and that might actually... I don't recall if the street gets closed for that or not. I think it might. So there's more coming, which is good. But that's the kind of thing, bringing people back downtown, getting that vibrancy is important. I know the business owners enjoy that, and they like that as well. You know, and the Chamber does Shop the Blocks in November. I think it is before Christmas. There's so many great businesses there. And that's the kind of thing where, as a city, we have to look at how we can make that easier. And it hasn't always been easy. You know, we've heard the concerns of business owners downtown about challenges they face, the red tape and other stuff. And we're working on that.
Yeah, and it does take time. It's nothing's an easy fix. But I see, and I forget the guy's name that he has a Facebook group of like historic Cornwall, and he has all sorts of old photos that he posts, and some of them, like, because I enjoy, like, even in my own hometown of Pembroke, Ontario, is like reminiscing of like that used to be there, or this, they used to have a sign for this there, and it's so cool to see those old historic pictures, because everything, you know, there was these beautiful signs on all storefronts, and it just seemed like it was a huge hub. There was like a trolley car, I think, right? Like there was that all through town, and like you said, like Pitt was like a walking street, right? Which just seeing that, you just think like, oh my God, it was like, why couldn't we have kept something similar to that? But like I said, it's a long unravel, and then, you know, you're at this point that you have to kind of say, like, what can we do to kind of, you know, make it what we want to make it, not have, say, downtown Cornwall completely lose its identity of what it is, you know?
Yeah, and that's it. I think that's part of it. And over the years, there's been different ideas of what it can look like. And, you know, you always have a chance to refresh every so many decades because the infrastructure needs repair or replacement. So you get a chance to say, we can change that. You know, there's a beautiful mural at the corner of Pitt and First. It's maybe a little faded right now, but it depicts one of the fires that occurred downtown. It's historical, but it also kind of shows like it's part of our history. There was another really nice one facing the courthouse, but it was damaging the brick wall, so it got removed. And those are the things that aren't great because it's like these little art installations are just adding that taste of like culture or just something small, but then something happens and it gets taken out. And
it'd be nice to see kind of, you know, have local artists kind of have their footprint a little more, and not just a Cornwall. I think a lot of different small towns, you know, because I know even where I'm from in Pembroke, we were known for our murals because every kind of city block on the old walls, we'd have something kind of depicting the history of Pembroke. And I think those are cool, especially for people that are visiting the area. It just gives them a quick snapshot of like, here's some history without you having to go out and look for the history and have it not kind of shoved down your throat, so to speak, type of thing. But also like, where do you start and where do you finish with that? You know, how do you kind of contain something of having the right history kind of shown from people that haven't been around for that history, you know, so that the historical stuff, you know, we don't really have those reference from people's word of mouth anymore. So how do we accurately represent it? You know, it's a tough thing to do, but. No,
and you're absolutely right. I think the initiative that started a few years ago, it hasn't been continued lately. We need to get back to it. There's the historical, historical walking tour plaque. Because historical plaques are generally the blue ones, right, that are around, but these are a little different. So if you look like the one I mentioned outside the city hall that has the old city hall, it's a painting done by a local artist, Pierre Giroux, and he's very talented. So there's a few of these downtown at certain locations where they want to highlight some of the history. Like there's one by the post office that talks about the orphanage that used to be on that site that burnt down, again, fire. But there's gaps because there's, for example, not one for the Carnegie Library I referenced, right? But then there's others that are around, and I think that's the best way we can try to talk about our history. There are groups that do walking tours, and they'll go to each plaque, and there's a history blurb on the plaque, and then the guide will talk about it a bit more and explain it a bit more. So that is helpful in a way, but it doesn't bring back what's lost, right? It's the best we can do with what we have.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Boo. Hey, I didn't mean to scare you guys. Hey, thanks for watching the episode. If I could ask a favor, just go down to that subscribe button and give that a little click. Remember, always support the little guy. So Justin, indie business is as much talking about small businesses as it is with music. Now, I'd love to know kind of what's your taste in music? You know, what did you grow up listening to? Say what's, you know, first concert or most memorable concert you've been to?
Yeah, no, so 90s alternative is my go-to. You know, it's why I grew up, and it's what I listen to the most. I have kind of an eclectic music taste, though, because I do listen to kind of everything. If you looked at my playlist, you'd be like, "What is going on here?" So, you know, if I'm going for a run, I'll put on something that's a bit more maybe aggressive or whatever. You know, when I think about listening to like Tea Party, Matthew Good Band, Red Hot Chili Peppers, but then also Prodigy. Orgy, like, you know, it's just kind of like it's kind of across the board, right? You get this mix of like different music in there. Finger 11.
Sounds like you would have had a bunch of Big Shiny Tune CDs, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's all. As soon as you get into your car, you put in your Big Shiny Tunes 4, right?
Yeah. Keeping the CDs under the seat to keep them cool from the sun.
It's like, Justin, it's all Big Shiny Tunes, man. Like it's like doubles of one. But what was, you know, like, did you go to concerts? What was, you know, first concert or? Yeah,
you know, I didn't really go to a lot growing up, unfortunately. You know, parents didn't really share my taste in music or anything like that. And if friends went when they were younger, they would have gone with their families. They didn't really get an invite or anything. But eventually I started going with people I worked with. And if I'm remembering correctly, I think the first one I went to was, it was in Montreal at the Metropolis. And the opening was a band called Copyright.
Okay.
And I don't know much about them. They were I think they were a local group. And then it was Trouble Charger and Matthew Good. And it was a great concert. It was a lot of fun. Small venue, right? So it's like, it's right there. So that was great. And then just over the years, like when I did have a chance to go, obviously like when Nickelback came to Cornwall.
Where did they play?
The Complex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually, back in the day, that's a good point. You probably know this, but like there used to be photos at the complex whenever big acts would come, like Johnny
Yeah.
Cash or Rush or any of these guys. And some of them, before they really made it big,
Yeah.
they played the complex way back when, right? When Cornwall was kind of more of a boom town back in the day.
Yeah.
But getting away from that, I did go to one of the Edge Fests in Parc Jean Drapeau, and Blink was the headliner. So I
Okay.
saw Blink. That was a great concert too.
Yeah.
And then like, that was the punk one. So it was like Millencolin Fox, Project Wise, bands like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of where I've been with music. So like I said, kind of eclectic. 90s alternative is my go-to. That's what I like to listen
Yeah.
to whenever I listen.
My first concert I ever went to, and I was so upset because like I would have been like 12 or 13, and my parents said we're going to go to Darien Lake. You know Darien Lake, across the border, and they said we're going to take you to see a concert. And I saw, and I was a huge Zakk Wylde fan, and he had a band called Pride and Glory, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And they were playing. And I said, oh my God, my parents are going to take me to see Pride and Glory. And they're like, no, we're going the next night, and it's going to be Sass Jordan and Kim Mitchell. And I'm just like, okay, that's, and I just thought, would have been so cool if they just, I've since forgave them, it's all good. And that was actually the first time that I ever smelt marijuana, too.
Yeah, jeez.
Was at a Sass Jordan concert in Darien Lake, United States. But yeah, anyways, man, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this. We appreciate it. We want to make sure that, we do our part to kind of highlight the awesome businesses and the businesses that may need a little bit of extra push in not just this downtown core, but in this region, as well as in our hometown of the Ottawa Valley area type of thing. Now, in indie business, generally, I'll ask a business owner if I could play a song.
Yeah.
This isn't necessarily a traditional setting, but do you mind if I play a song here?
No, absolutely. You're good to go.
Cool.
Yeah,
Let's go.
100%.
Awesome.
Cool.
Try to bear my soul, I'm out of control. I sold the last bit and out of rock and roll. I know tonight get to see your beautiful brown eyes. Hard to stay dry when I'm already soaked. Second-rate captain on a ship that won't float. But I tonight set sail for those beautiful eyes. Heaven's far away, afraid of heights, held close to home, fire keeps us warm at night. Tonight we'll meet wherever you'd like. We'll find each other side by side. Two hearts collide. No, 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 no. Nothing's gonna stop me from seeing you tonight. Yeah, yeah. Tend to see me through a better light. My bulb's much too dim, not screwed in too tight. You know I'm right. You can light up both our ways tonight. Pack your bags, we'll drive through the night. We'll let the moonlight guide both our ways tonight. That's right. We'll chase that morning summer light. We'll find each other side by side. Two hearts collide. No, 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 no. Nothing's gonna stop me from seeing you tonight. Yeah, yeah. We could take the long way home. On that road we're driving, we could take the long way home. While the lights are shining, we could take the long way home. On that road
Nothing's gonna stop me from seeing you tonight. Yeah, yeah. Na, na, na. Na, na, na. Na, na, na. Na, na, na.
Thank you.
That song was Drive Through the Night by my band Parliament of Owls. I know, it's a love song, but don't get the wrong impression that I'm some sort of heartthrob that only sings love songs all the time, because I don't! The rest of my music's like so much darker. And stop asking me to come to your weddings to sing. It's a really bad idea for you. Trust me on this. You want me nowhere near you on your special day. Anyways, you can find that song and any of the non-love songs wherever you do your interneting. I'm Wade Barris, and on behalf of my production partner, Aydyn Knifer, we'd like to thank Mayor Justin Towndale for meeting with us. This is Indie Business, and remember to always support the little guys.
We're here with Mayor Justin Towndale. Mayor, thank you for taking time to do this. Now, I know you're a busy guy, but just maybe give us a little bit of history on, first of all, what it's like to be mayor, how long have you been mayor, and kind of your background leading up to what you became a mayor. Let's do it again. Hold on. I'm the professional one.
No!